Morning guys, today we're out in the woods. We're actually grabbing some sound effects for our game, for the game jam, and I thought what better opportunity to talk about sound effects than right now. So we're going to go and try and find some birds and just point the mic at them and record it. Oh, there's a bird right there. No, he flew away. God damn it. Boy oh boy, that is thick. This unfortunately means that we're going to have to do round 2. Plan B. Alright, bird forest noise, take 1. Always bring your headphones on you when you're scouting, especially. And right now I'm just using my camera actually to record everything. And you can get like nice Foley, like listen to that. Oh, good sounds, man, good sounds. I promise I won't do too many of these vlogging. Right, so another sound we want is actually a cracking sound of like bark and trees and all that type of stuff, you know. I don't know why forests there's just cracking sounds in the forest. People walk there, animals walk there, everything happens there. It's the place to be. I'm going to turn up the volume so don't get startled by the fact that the volume's so blinking high. And let us that was not effective at all. I'll try it with this one. Bringing us to another point, you don't have to use what you think you have to use. Especially with Foley sound, you can use anything and it sounds right. So for this one, instead of stepping on the twig, I'm actually just going to pull this. This is a punga tree? I'm not actually sure. Some New Zealand tree. We'll record it once he turns off his motor. Bloody interrupting my Foley sounds. That's not very natural. That might be a bit too high, so I'll just turn it down a bit. Yeah, that's right. Thanks to you, there'll be no more chickens in the game. Chickens are gonna sound like ducks. Thank you. Cake break. So one of the last things we need, and that I haven't actually got yet, is ocean sounds. Now I really wanted real life ocean sounds, but the ocean is quite far away. I don't want to drive, I don't want to walk. Hello. So instead of travelling all the way down to the ocean, I'm just going to make some more mouth noises and stuff like that. I'm sure we can get a nice for our game. Yep. That's enough outdoors for a week. Morning everyone, Tater here. Welcome to Tater Games. Today we're going to be talking about making your own sound effects. So I just went into the wilderness as you saw before, and we decided that we were going to get some nice sound effects from the forest to put inside our game. I'm extremely fortunate because I live in the middle of nowhere, so there are very few cars, although there are some cars and they did disturb the recordings a little bit, but I managed to get rid of them using noise reduction effects and stuff like that. Basically what I do is go out into wherever you need and grab sounds that would fit into your game. For example, the ambient sounds, there's a lot of bird chirping, and so I made sure I got some birds by facing the shotgun mic directly towards the birds, but at the same time it also got the wind from everywhere else, which is great. That's perfect. That's exactly what we want. When it came to the chickens, they only did the sound in the morning, so I decided to record the ducks and then take the chicken asset and the duck noises and then just call them Dickens. This is the kind of thing that you have to do in a game jam. If you're doing a game jam, and especially in 4 days, it's the kind of limitations that you get, and I love it. I think it's perfect. People are going to get a laugh out of the game the moment they hear the word Dickens. So they're originally supposed to be chickens, and then you got the chicken house, and then when you click on the chicken house, it says a house for my Dickens. It's great. But yeah, the entire idea behind it was just to go out, experiment a little bit. I haven't got a large sound library, but I am building upon it, and unfortunately I didn't have anything that I could use for this game jam, so I've decided that I had to go out and grab some more stuff. So we've got 3 ambient tracks, and they're all birds chirping and wind noises and kind of creaking of wood and stuff like that. You saw me grabbing all that stuff. And then we also got the duck noises. And then when I came back, I was like, oh Christ, I forgot to get the sound of the waves on the lake or ocean or whatever it was. So where is it? I just got my bottle. I'll try my best to hide the logo. I don't want to think. And I just did this. And it worked! Ingenuity, isn't it great? Also, I've got a spooky sort of sound that I just made with my mouth. I was just like, wah, wah, or something into the microphone and then made some like shh noises and stuff. And it all turned out really great, and I'm going to use that because there is a dark secret to my game that for those of you who are watching this episode, you guys will be the only people that know because I'm not going to hint at it anymore other than in-game. When you guys play my game, try and look for the hidden things around the environment. There are quite a few. I think there's like 5 now, but the story is the dark secret. I'm going to talk more about developing a story the moment that the game comes out. For example, tomorrow we are going to talk about the image effects and how to get that film kind of look, how to use color grades, how to create image effects that are super duper awesome. But for now, I thought we'd just talk a bit more sound effects. I'll show you guys how I go out and do this. Unfortunately, I don't want to show you my game just yet. I want you to see it when I release it. So the game jam ends in 23 hours upon this video's release, which means you guys have the opportunity to go and test other people's games, you know, try them out, play them out, and see who you think is better. And of course, vote on all of them. I encourage you guys to do that. It really helps these guys out who are making the games. And if you are making the games, please, dear God, go and vote fairly on everyone else. It is very important that you do that so that they get the feedback. That is what I want to get out of this game jam. I don't give 2 damns who comes first in reality. I'm more interested in how have people grown as developers. All that stuff aside, we're going to talk about sound effects and how to really get them. Now, what I did was I took this camera because I have no other way of recording sound. And I actually recorded it with the shotgun mic that you're going to see right now, Rode microphone. And the point of it was to gather sound and isolate that sound to its core or bare minimum so that we can play around with levels. I found a spot with wind, I found a spot with birds, and I found the spot with just sticks on the ground so that I can step on them and make that creaking sound that you guys hear. I mean, that creaking sound just really brings the whole piece of ambient track together. And the idea behind it is that we have different layers going at different paces, because let's say we have 10 seconds of one song and 20 seconds of another song, or we'll say even weirder, 17 seconds of another song. They both start at the exact same time, but once one ends, you don't want another one to end, or else the sound will drop completely for a few seconds, or a few milliseconds in this case, even if it's looping. So whilst that 17-second one reaches the 10-second mark, it continues, and this one starts to loop again. What this means is that they're never aligned. Because of this, people won't notice things looping. So I've done that with the ambient tracks. Everything is sort of out of sync, and that's perfect for this type of stuff. That is the ambience that was quite easy. I found a very windy place, managed to get some wind. I found a very bird-like place and managed to get the sounds of the birds, and they were extremely isolated as well, because where the birds were where there was no wind, so it's perfect. Of course, when it came to crushing the sticks, I actually turned the sound down a lot, which cut out the bird noises and the wind noises, and only had the loud sound of the sticks cutting. And then of course in post-production, we just kind of lower that level down because it is quite intense. There was no need to add much else, no effects really. I did lower the bass end on the wind, or else it's too overpowering. And when it came to the birds, I lowered the bass end as well. But when it came to the sticks, I left the bass end in there. Of course, we export all 3, we move it into Unity, and then we make our track kind of layer up together so that we have 3 audio sources playing at different speeds, so it's all overlapping each other. Nobody will ever notice that they are looping. Next up came the ducks, which was fairly simple. I just chased some ducks around, because the rooster was playing up and he's not doing what he's supposed to do and cook-a-doodle-doo every bloody morning. I mean, it may have just been because I was there. Maybe that's why they don't do it when you're around. But of course you get the nice cicada sounds in the background, and it's just all blends in really nicely. And I'm so lucky to live in an environment that actually complements the game that I was making. I think we're out of focus for like the entirety of this video, sorry. Of course we have the water sounds, and for this I just amplified kind of the bass and the treble. It's similar to something that you do when you're doing this voice. For example, this voice recording, I amp up the bass and the treble. It gives a very nice crisp and amplifies the deepness of my voice. Similar thing to the water, right? The water acts in a kind of similar way. You want that swishiness of the high ends, and you want that thumpiness of the low ends as it like kind of hits the ends. Of course, you give it a bit of motion and then you get yourself a nice wave sound. It's pretty easy, that one. That's pretty much it. That covers the ambient sounds that I was going to get. Unfortunately, I don't think I will be able to for the game when it's finished, because I'm trying to work on it and work on these videos at the same time. So I have to do the game's actual stepping sounds. But I probably can't do that. I did get some, however, whilst I was out there, so that's going into my library. Now, there's a few other sounds that I used in the game, and one of which is when a text pops up, or when you inspect something, or when you tell the player what something is. There's a little sound that goes a little like this. And that sound is pretty much, I thought, would be the best indicator that this is not a very serious game on its face. I cannot wait to share this game with you guys. Thank you very much for watching today's episode of Tater Games. But I know it was short and I know it was a little bit active and outdoorsy. Sorry for the change if you don't like this. But yep, tomorrow we are going to talk about Game Jam stuff again, but this time we're going to go over image effects. Then we are going to talk about how to convey a story. Then we are going to talk about banana bread because that's the Thursday. And then I'm going to teach you how to make this entire game in 4 days. Everything there is to do about it. See you then.